is here.
Check it out.
And you're locked on to Utah's highest rated, most listened to sports radio station.
It's my station. It's my station.
This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hey, let's get it, folks. Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. What a beautiful day, Hans. How are you?
Beautiful day and a beautiful facility. This is gorgeous. You know, Scotty and I get out on remotes quite a bit, and we don't get into Utah County often. Scotty tends to block that, anything past the point of the mountain, because it takes a little extra time in his day.
It's completely untrue.
But we're finally in Orem. This feels like home for me because this is where Amanda and I met.
Oh, yeah.
She was working at SOS Staffing. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Oh, yeah. She worked at SOS Staffing here in Orem. And so I've got a lot of memories and a lot of history here in this city. And this new location for Back 9 is beautiful. It's simple to get to. It's easy access. And you know what I like about this one, Scotty? Feel how open this is.
Oh, I know. You don't feel cramped. Nothing.
You know, a lot of these facilities, these golf simulators, they put you in a small room and you're just kind of crammed up a little bit, but they've got all the extra bays. They got open areas. They got massage chairs at each bay, so while somebody's hitting, the other person could be in a massage chair. And you can play pretty much any course here at the Back 9. This is their grand opening.
Yeah.
This is their grand opening, and it's fun. It's just fun to see all the owners and the guys that went into business on this and the excitement. This is a franchise, and so this isn't like, oh, well, let's try something new. No, this is a proven simulator that they know how to manage the subscriptions. They know how to manage the bays. They know how to manage the software, and so you get the perfect experience.
There's some membership opportunities where you can come by. Let's say it's 2 a.m. and you can't sleep, and you're like, you know what? I got this little hitch I got to work out. Guess what? You can come on down here 24/7 and come in here and work on your game anytime you want. We're going to be down here for the next 3 hours, 895 South, 700 East. It's called the Back 9. Again, several locations, but we need you down here in the Orem location. Again, 895 South, 700 East. And let's get it, folks. This is going to be a lot of fun today, as it's also hey, Lloyd, today's Wednesday, right? Cougar preview show today?
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right.
Go ahead and tease it again, man.
Let's go, baby.
It's a Cougar preview show.
The show's so nice, we tried to do it twice.
I do want people to know, it's just, if you know where the Costco gas station is, we're literally in that same parking lot, that same parking area as the Costco gas station. And you'll see it, the grand opening. We got a Chick-fil-A booth out here.
Oh, yeah.
We've got the Zone van that's out here. And you know what's awesome? Man, we've got so many great people coming out. Jason Spearden, former BYU offensive lineman, he's out here. Ray Fang is supposed to come in. But tonight, from, is it 7 to 9? 7 to 9, they're going to have Parker Kingston, Carson Ryan, Chase Roberts is supposed to show up, Isaiah Glasker. So you got some of the big guns that are coming out for BYU football. Come out and just see the new business, the Back 9. Come and rent a bay. Come enjoy some golf where you don't even have to get your feet wet.
Nope. And by the way, how'd you hit him this morning?
Not well. Not well.
Yeah.
But your boy Kevin's a stick.
Oh, he is a stick.
You know who's a stick?
Who?
Jeremy.
Is he really?
Yeah, of course. Jeremy with Bar W Beef.
Yeah.
So I was out with a couple of sponsors, Jeremy and Bar W Beef. I was out with Kevin White, who is Scotty's favorite on-air partner.
It would have been nice if I had gotten an invite, but
you're not going to do that, are you? Okay, am I going to have to pull up the text that you ignored and that I responded to? Don't you ever do that, Scotty.
No, that's a fun group right there.
We had a blast, and then one of the all-time greats, Jeff, was out there.
Jeff Hunsaker, yeah.
He is an absolute beast.
He's a pretty good stick, too.
He is. They all golfed a lot better than me. So
I know Kevin's a scratch, so he always tries to get me out there at Alpine. I'm like, I got to work on my game.
We did cook up some steaks on the 6th. We had a little, pop. No, I wish.
That would have been okay.
I almost brought my, little pop-up unit.
Oh.
Just to throw some steaks on with some charcoal.
Oh, that would have been funny.
Because, Jeremy and Bart always got beef on them.
Oh, yeah. No, they don't leave home without a ribeye or two.
No. BarWbeef.com. Go order $150. They'll send it to your house for free.
That's barwbeef.com. Let's get it, folks. Starting lineup as we get you ready for another weekend of college football right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is Hans and Scotty G.
Let's go!
The lineup is set, and it's time to kick off the show with the biggest topic of the day. This is the starting lineup on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You know, Hans, we look at the University of Utah coming off a bye week after two big blowout victories. They were smarting from that BYU loss, and what do? They go out and they just put the hammer on two teams back-to-back, including a nice win against Cincinnati. And so now you're looking at a Utah team coming off that bye, and I'm a little concerned about this. I don't think it's going to hold them back too much, but going on the road after back-to-back blowout victories against Cincinnati and against now my computer's all frozen up on me, in Colorado, I worry about the loss of momentum going into this Baylor game. Now, they're going to be healthier. And again, I'm not saying it's going to happen. It's just a concern of mine that it could happen in this game against Baylor. Because Baylor is not a bad team. Now, is Baylor a great team? No. But Baylor certainly has the tools and the wherewithal to give Utah all kinds of fits if Utah slips a little bit coming out of this bye.
I kind of like this matchup for Utah.
Oh, I do too. Like on paper, I love it.
Yeah, I kind of like it. Couple of things. Baylor did get off a 2-game losing streak. They beat UCF and beat them pretty soundly. But they had lost to Cincinnati, a team that...
And lost badly, by the way.
A team that Utah cleaned up.
Yeah.
So I like the matchup. You know, they got a great passing game. They do some really good things through special teams. They've definitely got a good team. And I did call a game at that stadium 2 years ago. It's a great environment. It's not a hostile environment. It's just a great environment. I do think that Utah should travel pretty well. I think they're going to get a nice contingent of Utah fans out there. I understand what you're saying about a potential letdown, you know, coming off a bye week. And by the way, does it not feel like it was like a month ago that we saw this Utah team play last? Why does it feel like this bye week was like so long?
Yeah. That's a great question because it certainly does.
Does it feel that long for Utah fans, or is it just me? Just wanting to see this Utah team. I really didn't want a bye week because I loved how they were playing, and I wanted to see them roll right into a game. But it feels like it's been a long time. And I do think it's helpful. And I'm going to go back to one thing specifically.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at the Texas Tech loss and you look at the BYU loss, the one common denominator was Devin Dampier not being healthy. Now, against Cincinnati, he looked pretty darn healthy. He looked like he was close to himself. Give him the extra week, maybe Devin Dampier gets back to that 95, 98% health level where he can move and he feels comfortable taking off from the pocket, where he feels comfortable running the whole offense. But he looked really good against Cincinnati. They looked unstoppable at times against Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
So I love giving Dampier a little bit more time to get himself healthy and ready. Outside of that, I think this Utah team is ready to crank out these final 3 games. And I've been talking to a couple of members on the staff. I'm keeping up to date with how they're feeling, how they feel about their team. And, Scotty, they're ready to rock and roll. Their confidence level is sky high. They feel really good about the team they've got. They feel really good about the momentum they've got. They feel good about the bye week, getting their guys healthy and ready. And, you know, when I talk to these guys, this is a staff that it just feels like they're cranked up and ready to go finish these 3 games.
This is a team that certainly feels like they play into the strengths of Utah in terms of, I know they're averaging on the season 140 yards a game on the ground. That means when you're playing Utah right now, especially if Utah's playing the way they have over the last couple of weeks, you take that and you take about 40 yards off that.
Yeah.
And you got Bryson Washington, who looked so good at the start of the season, strung together 3 big 100-yard games. His last 3 games, 23, 23, and 21. I know we've dealt with some injuries, but yeah, their running games are really slowing down, and their ability to stop the run has been remarkably bad for a Dave Aranda team.
Yeah, very bad, and I think that fits into what Utah does offensively. So going into that Cincinnati game, you know, I tracked 19 of the top statistical categories. going into that Cincinnati game, Utah was top 25 in 13 of the 19. And when I'm talking about the top statistical categories, total offense, total defense, passing defense, rushing offense, rushing defense, just all of the major ones, turnover margin, scoring offense, scoring defense, they were top 25 in 13 of the 19. This is a very complete team. And when we were looking at it, it is interesting that they're not one of the top 25 in rushing defense. But here's the difference. I think they're capable of being a top 25 team in rushing defense if that's what they're wanting to do. I actually think that.
Mm-hmm.
If they decide, hey, we got a rushing offense that we've got to shut down, we're going to do that. The thing is, I think they can look at Baylor and they can say, okay, good passing offense, good quarterback. I think we know how we're going to do this. We're going to shut them down on the outsides. We're going to run a lot of press man. We can get the pressure on Sawyer. And I think that that's what they're going to attempt to do. Baylor does have a really good passing offense. Sawyer Robertson, 2,780 yards on 366 attempts this year. 26 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. Sawyer Robertson has had a really good season. But that hasn't helped Baylor through some of their lack of defense and some of their lack in the other areas.
A guy he's not a mobile quarterback. He certainly isn't going to beat you with his feet.
No, he's a lot like Mortensen, who I just watched BYU face, who it just wants to sit and deal.
Yeah, and which I think also plays into Utah as well, because mobile quarterbacks tend to give Utah some fits. You're not going to get that out of this guy.
No, Sawyer Robertson has 39 carries for 13 yards on the year.
Yeah, those are center blocks for feet.
Yeah, he's not going to try to get out and move on you. That's why I really feel like this is the type of offense that matches up really well with this Utah defense. Okay, so this was my thought. Coming back from the bye week, this is why I think it's a really good fit for Utah. It's going to put the group on the road. So you go on the road, you got to figure out your road situation. But you come off a bye week, you feel healthy, you feel confident that you can beat this Baylor team, and it's not a hostile environment. So I think it's a perfect road opportunity. It's a, 2.5-hour flight?
Yeah, not bad.
2.5 hour flight.
Yeah,
it's not a terrible flight.
Not at all.
We're not talking West Virginia where you got to fly into Pittsburgh and then drive 2 hours, or East Carolina where you fly into Raleigh and then you got to drive another 2 hours. Like it's a simple flight, easy drive. It's not terrible, and it's a team that you feel confident that you can beat. It's a game plan. It's a very simple game plan. It's not that you're not going extreme. You're not trying to rebuild yourself because you're taking on Texas Tech again. You're taking on a mid to lower mid-level Big 12 team that you feel like you could confidently beat. You're doing it on the road. You're doing it against a non-mobile quarterback. I just think it's a perfect comeback game to keep the momentum and go get a 25, 30-point victory and say, and flex your muscles a little bit. Show the CFP, hey, look what we're ready to do. Because the CFP, they put you on notice a little bit. Like, we see you're on bye week. We know you're a good team. We're going to leave you at number 13.
Yep.
And what did they do? They did exactly what we thought they were going to do with BYU.
But BYU at 12.
They dropped BYU to 12th. They put them just in front of Utah. And they essentially, the CFP is doing it right. They play the game. They know the fan bases. They play the game. What I do like is all 3 Big 12 teams are still above the top-rated ACC team. Mm-hmm. Miami comes in at 14, just below number 13 Utah. And I like that because that still tells you, that's an indicator of you could have a 2-bid league. Now, what we need to see, what would be great for the conference, is if all 3 of those teams win out from this point on.
Yes.
If Texas Tech, BYU, and Utah, because they can all win out from this point because they don't play each other again, so they can all win out from this point on. You could have a 1-loss Texas Tech team, a 1-loss BYU team, and a 2-loss Utah team. You're going to make that Big 12 matchup, BYU-Texas Tech rematch. Utah's sitting on the outside, probably ranked about 9th at that point if they win these next 3 games. And now, depending on how that Big 12 championship game goes, you might, maybe you get 3.
So if
maybe.
This is I think how if they win out, how Utah would get in is if Texas Tech embarrassed BYU.
That's it. If BYU were to beat Texas Tech by a point in overtime,
They're still Texas Tech's in.
Texas Tech's still in.
Yeah.
As a 2-loss team.
Mm-hmm.
Now the committee's got to go back and take a deep look at Utah, and say, "Oh man, they came off that bye week. They beat Baylor by 22. Man, they came back home. They beat Kansas State by 18 at home, and then they went on the road to Kansas. Oh my gosh, they put it on Kansas, beat them by 32.
Demolish those guys.
I mean,
so 5 games to end the year, all in blowout fashion.
And what's tough for Utah is, and what's tough for the committee is, as BYU wins, they have to move them up incrementally together.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
So it would be from 13-12 to 12-11, or to 11-10, and then to 10-8.
All right. So because you nailed what this one looked like, let's say this week BYU at home needs some last-minute heroics to beat TCU. And Utah goes on the road and beats Baylor by 24.
They keep BYU in front of
You
Utah.
think BYU stays in front by 1?
Yep, I do.
Now, both of them would move up, but you think it would go as a combo that way?
I think it would go somewhere in 10-11, depending on what happens above. And just so everybody knows, don't worry about who's above.
No.
I know everybody's upset about the Oklahomas and the Notre Dames and all this, the 2-loss teams. Don't worry about those teams, because as you take care of business, they're not, because they play each other.
Yeah.
So they're going to continue to drop and fall. So don't worry about that crap. Just worry about what's in front of you. If you take care of the business in front of you, the CFP will continue to move them up together as long as they continue to win together. They'll move them up together. They'll keep BYU just in front because they're a 1-loss team and they got the head-to-head matchup. So I don't think margin can switch that at this point. Because, if I'm looking at it as a committee, I'm still saying 1 loss, head-to-head matchup.
Yep.
Until it's a 2-loss team, I can't start to put Utah in front of them. If they're a 2-loss team and Utah's blowing out teams, now I can move them in front. Am I off on that?
No.
I mean, you're the one that's worked on these committees.
I think you hit it on the head, and this is why I think you nailed it last week too. I think if you're now not saying that the committee has tiebreakers, but I think we've seen them have these kind of unwritten tiebreakers. Number 1 is win-loss. Okay? BYU's got them in win-loss. Number 2 is head-to-head. Number 3 is how they're playing right now. And so I think that they're looking at number 1, okay, Utah over or BYU over Utah because they've got 1 loss, Utah's got 2. Number 2, BYU's got the head-to-head. And then number 3, BYU or Utah might be playing better than BYU right now, but those first 2 are going to trump that. And I'm not even saying they're playing better. I'm just saying that their margin of victories are more than what BYU has had. And so if BYU barely beats TCU and Utah curb stomps Baylor, I don't think it impacts it. Now, both will move up, but I don't think it'll impact the Utah versus BYU situation.
So I get what you're saying. I don't like to have that bye week while they're just on a heater.
I don't either.
But you do have a veteran team. You got a lot of great leaders. If everybody can keep their focus, they truly should beat Baylor by 18+. They should.
Mm-hmm. I on paper, yes. That's why I don't know, man. I have a weird feeling about this game. And maybe it's just because we've seen Utah have some momentum in years past, and then they run into, a weird Arizona team that puts it on them in Tucson, and you're like, wait, where did that come from? That shouldn't have happened. Or the Oregon State loss a few years ago. Like, you're like, wait, what? It's like, and so maybe I think you just get trained that there's always some weird, funky game in there. And I just hope that it isn't this week on the road against Baylor coming out of a bye week because this team was playing so well. But you're right. Leadership, coaching, these guys have been there. They've done it. They should be fine. And you certainly hope that's the case.
As a Utah fan, I think that you're still rooting for BYU to beat Cincinnati because I think BYU is the only team that can beat Cincinnati. Somebody's got to give Cincinnati their second loss. And somebody has to give Utah their second loss. Now, you can make it Cincinnati. If you're a Utah fan, you can make it Cincinnati. But now you're talking about Cincinnati being a one-win team. So Utah definitely needs some help. But all the models you and I have run, if you've got a 1-1 loss team and you got a group of 2-loss teams, Utah's got the advantage in the 2-loss.
Yep.
Right?
Yep, 100%.
So that's the difference. Utah is just begging that you get a group of 2-loss teams. But if BYU wins out, the stars are written.
Yeah. You know, and it's kind of funny, though, because – and maybe I'm off base on this because I'm just doing this on the fly. If BYU beats Cincinnati, that drops Cincinnati to 2 losses but keeps BYU at just 1 loss. Whereas if Utah beats, or if Cincinnati beats BYU, then BYU comes to that 2-loss plateau, and then you're hoping that Cincinnati picks up another loss along the way to drop them down to 2 losses. So you could spin pretty much either one of them, I think. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you need BYU to win. You want BYU to win. I think that better situates your situation for sure.
Gives you a better shot.
Yeah, yep.
Scotty, we get to catch up with Austin Ainge right at 12:30. So
yes, we got to go to break.
Excited to catch up with him, but
right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Kyle Whittingham and the Utes hit the road to Waco for a showdown against Baylor. Your home for the best coverage of Utah football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans Olsen, Scott Gerard, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Normally you hear from Danny Ainge every Wednesday at this time. Well, today we hope to be able to hear from Austin Ainge and get his thoughts on this team and where they're at, coming off a blowout victory last night.
It's like every once in a while, huh?
Yeah.
Every once in a while, Lowry Markkinen remembers, wait a second. I'm all-star level. Let's go.
Let's remind everybody.
Let's go play.
Yeah.
You know, Ace Bailey comes in. He's just like, oh, wait. So this is a round ball. It's a court, same type of rim. Let's go play some basketball. And Ace Bailey goes off and has a game. And you're reminded, wait a second, these dudes are still the highest level basketball players in the world.
Yes.
And they go out and do work. I like what Yusuf Nurkic has been able to do. You know, I always feel like Yusuf Nurkic can get in there and can elbow with any big in the NBA. I love his physicality. So a lot of great things.
Let's do it. Time to catch up with Utah Jazz and talk a little Utah Jazz basketball with Austin Ainge.
It's time to talk Utah Jazz basketball with the president of basketball operations, Austin Ainge, with Hans and Scotty G on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
He is the president of basketball operations, Austin Ainge, kind enough to join us. Austin, how you doing?
I'm great, guys. How are you?
Very good.
You get a blowout victory, and you tell the old man, like, hey, you know what? I got the radio shot tomorrow. Let me take over.
Happy to join you guys. I'll let him take the tough losses.
There you go. It's exciting. What is that like, Austin? You sit back and you watch your product put up 152 points, just a couple points away from franchise history. Just talk about watching your guys do that last night.
Yeah, I mean, all the successes are so fun to watch because you're around these young guys and these players, and they really give themselves to the game and they dedicate themselves, and it means everything to them. And so you just get excited for them and feel for them, happy with it. It's just a treat to be around when things are going well like that and see them have success.
So 152, 128, obviously offensive, just a juggernaut last night for this team. When do you feel like you'll have a good sense of the identity of this team? Everybody always says in Major League Baseball it's around Memorial Day. Is there a moment where you kind of feel like, okay, I know who these guys are?
Yeah, I would say 25. You start to have a better idea in the NBA. But, you know, when you have a team as young as ours, we will continue to evolve the whole season as these guys kind of figure it out and find their place.
Austin, it was so fun because Scotty, Lloyd, and I all showed up at the Ace Bailey presser, and we watched you up on the podium with a big grin on your face. You could see that you felt like you hit. Like you wore it. Like, hey, we hit. I know we fell from the lottery, but we hit. And now watching Ace Bailey continue to develop, work into now the starting rotation and into 26 minutes, putting up 20 points. How rewarding is that to see the decision and all the work that went into finding that fifth pick and now watching Ace do what he's doing?
It's super rewarding, and it's more than just the scouting aspect. Since the day we drafted Ace and his family, we've been working on plans and developing him and helping him find just how to live life. Coach Hardy's done an amazing job with him and his staff, and we're just really trying to develop him right, raise him to be to reach his potential, whatever that ends up being. But it's things like, how do you eat? How do you get to the weight room? What's your daily schedule like? How do you handle travel? How do you handle your apartment? These types of things. It's a lot of work that goes into this. And so, yeah, like I said, these successes are so fun to be a part of after all that work.
I was doing a show with David Locke a long, long time ago, and we came up with the Oreo cookie theory that, sometimes when you're dunking it in milk and you leave it in a little too long, it all falls apart. But, you need to have that right kind of exposure. And we talked about that in terms of rookies. Is there too much that you can give a rookie too soon? And do you feel like you kind of have to pace them a little bit?
Absolutely. I mean, really what we're trying to do is, like I said, it's just like raising kids. Coaching, Coach Hardy, and he and I talk about this all the time. It really is like raising kids. What do you reward? What do you hold accountable? When do you give praise? When do you sit them down a little bit, right? And so we're trying to pick the things that are most important. Right now it's defensive game plan and defensive rotation. If you make a turnover, if you take a bad shot, maybe not stressing on that as bad as if we spend 20 minutes on the game plan saying force this guy right, their best player, and you check in the game and he goes right by you left, you got to come out, right? And so just picking some things and then working on them one at a time with these young guys and just adding every day to their repertoire and their knowledge base.
So, Austin, going back last Tuesday, I was asking Danny about Isaiah Collier and his potential return, and he kind of led on to, yeah, it's coming. He gave us some indicators of where he'd been and what he's been doing to get ready. He jumps back on the court against Minnesota, has some good minutes. But I just want to go to the minutes he had last night, 27 minutes, and he goes to 11 assists. He puts up 14 points, a nice double-double in his third game back. And the reason I asked Danny about it is because Isaiah was one of my favorites from last year, because I'm a football guy, so I love tough guys. And Isaiah's a tough guy. He reminds me of a running back or a linebacker. He's an absolute tough guy beast. But I love his return. What does this guy do to have such a high level of assists? Because he was a record for rookies for the Utah Jazz. What is he doing to see the court to have these assists?
Well, I mean, like you said, he's a running back, downhill runner, and he lives in the paint. And so you've got to bring help, and then he can spray it around and find guys. He really turns up the pace on our offense, and he just gets easy shots for guys. He's so strong and fast. Guys can't keep him in front, and that just opens up opportunities for everybody else. Couldn't be happier about his return, especially he missed all of training camp and the first part of the season. That's hard to do for a young guy, and he hit the ground running.
I was talking to a coach a couple of years ago, and he mentioned that sometimes when guys suffer season-ending injuries, it's hard to keep them involved because they have commitments with their rehab, and you've got to move on as a coach and as a team and try to win games. How hard is it to make sure that Walker Kessler still remains an integral part of this team, even though he's going through a season-ending injury?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting challenge, and every guy is a little different, and reality is a little different through this. It is hard, and it can be lonely. So we're going to do as good a job as we can to keep them involved in the group. We might have to give them coaching or scouting assignments or something to keep them engaged.
So, Austin, just coming back to the state and taking over as president of operations, and now you're 11 games in and things are rocking and rolling. How is it? How have you enjoyed it? How much anxiety comes with it? Is it what you thought? I know you got a lot of years in this business, but is this what you thought it'd be here in Utah?
Yeah, everything is the business side is kind of what you thought, but life and moving your family across the country, 17 years in Boston was a long time. It was a big adjustment for us, and the state's changed a lot since I went to college at BYU. I didn't really live besides that, and so I don't know the soul Baylor very well, and so it's been getting to know that. But it's been great, and I tell you what, like being in the Delta Center with our fans, it's just such an awesome place, man. The support they give. It's been a rebuild, and just to see the people show up to support our young guys and see the progress they're making, it sure makes it fun.
You've got a really good brain trust of, not just you and not just Danny, but Jay-Z and leaning on Ryan as well. And I've known a lot of people in that organization, Jim Olson, Chris Barney. I mean, there's a lot of really smart people in that building. When it comes to making a big decision, a personnel decision, and ultimately it's your call, but what is the conversations like in determining, okay, is this something we want to proceed with or not, whether it be free agency or trade or anything along those lines?
Got a bunch of smart people, even more than the ones you named, and we get together and we spend so much time talking through these. I do a lot of individual discussions with those people, and then get together in groups and do it again, and then we just try to come to the best decision and bring it to Ryan and say this is what we feel, and he gives us the thumbs up or the thumbs down. But it really is a group effort. Coach Hardy's a huge part of that too. I try to keep him involved in every single part of these decisions because it really matters how he feels about things and how they fit in his system. So he's a huge part.
How much do you lean on guys like George Niang and Kevin Love, Austin, to teach these young guys? Because this has been my biggest talking point for the last few years with Scotty is if you're going to have these young draft picks and you're going to have all these rookies that are coming in, you got to have the right leadership, the right guys, the right veterans to bring them up. How much do you lean on those guys to help them through the professionalism of this?
A lot. There's voices from the old guys and the coaching staff in the front office, and then there's the voices in the locker room, and you need them all pulling in the same direction. And when we acquired those guys, and Nurkic as well, and Kyle Anderson as well, those guys have all been around and played in a lot of big-time games, and they know what it takes. And so we've asked every one of them when we acquired them, that was one of the first things I talked to them about. Like, we really need you to help us in this way, and this is a big part of your role in this team. And every one of them have embraced it and just been great from the day they showed up, and we're very, very grateful.
Where's the ceiling on Svi? What are your thoughts on him and his potential future in this league?
I mean, Svi has been awesome all year for us, and I see some fans out there going, "Why are we playing Svi instead of the 20-year-olds?" And we go, "Because Svi is good, and we've got him under a good contract, and he's a great example, and he makes the game easier for everyone, and he's playing hard on ends and shots. Like, he just opened guys like Keontae and Isaiah Collier. I mean, I hate to put ceilings on anyone, but we're thrilled with what he's done and the example he's given of being patient and staying professional and then capitalizing when he's gotten the opportunity."
Okay, Austin, I want you to correct me if I'm totally wrong here. Just watching the young guys, watching the growth and development, there's been a lot of improvement. And I thought Walker Kessler's start was probably the most dramatic. But with Walker Kessler sidelined right now, would I be accurate in saying that Keontae George has taken the biggest step from last year to this year?
Yeah, I mean, so far, certainly through however many games we've played, he's had a great start to the season, and you just can't, be more excited for him and his development because he worked so hard this summer. The best thing that ever happened to him was his girlfriend, Yaya, to do summer school at the University of Utah. So he stayed and did all summer within our weight room, just transformed himself and his game, and it's all paid off.
So you've got kids, and you know what it's like when they run into, they get some money for their birthday or something like that. At least my kids, that money couldn't burn a hole in their pocket fast enough. They wanted to spend that as quickly as they possibly could. You've got a ton of assets, and you've got draft picks, and you've got a lot of things that you can play with. How tempting is it not to go all in and to be patient and wait for the right opportunity?
Yeah, it's something we talk about all the time, patience versus aggressiveness, and it really is dependent on how some of these players develop, right? We've got a ton of young guys. They don't all need to hit. They don't all need to make the leap, but once a couple of them do, the corner, right? And we're seeing it with Keontae. We're seeing it with Walker. We're, and a few others I think are coming along with opportunity. Ace is making good strides. You said Isaiah in a few games. So as those guys get more ready, then we can start, we can hit the gas pedal.
You got a nice finish coming into December 1st, Austin. 7 games at home, 2 on the road. You got nice Eastern Conference challenges before you hit L.A. with Atlanta and Chicago, both of them just right there on the borderline of playoff teams in the East. So good tests. Just talk about the schedule going through December 1st, an opportunity to keep your team at home a little bit and get that home court advantage.
Yeah, I mean, look, these are you have some teams that are really hard for us and some teams that are good matchups, and we're trying not to focus too much on that and just go, it's boring coach speak, but day-to-day, possession by possession, keep growing and see where we're at the end of it.
All right, so we're at an indoor golf facility down here in Orem doing a remote. So it's you, Danny, and crew on the course. How do you guys usually finish? 1, 2, 3.
It's all pretty close. I think I'm probably last right now. I'm trying to work more than I golf. So
good.
I want to lose for the next few years till we get this Jazz thing rocking and rolling.
I like it. Hey, Austin, we appreciate your time. Thanks for hanging out with us. A lot of fun, and keep it rolling. We look forward to catching up with you again sometime down the line.
Tons of fun, guys. See you.
Thanks, Austin.
There he is, Austin Ainge, right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's got to be tempting.
I know.
Because you're right, they've got a pocket full of goods.
Yeah.
And here's the good news. So, you take your shot on Keontae George. You take your shot on some of these draft picks. They're starting to pan out. I'd like to see Taylor Hendricks really come around. Like some of the beginning stuff, summer league, and some of those things. You're starting to see some development. I want to see him really come around. But you have to hit on these draft picks. Ace Bailey is shown early. He starts with 15, 16 minutes, and coming in on bench support. And he gets into the starting lineup by game 10.
Yep.
Game 9.
It was 2 games ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So game 9, game 10, jumps into the starting lineup and starts giving you really good minutes and looked really good. He's explosive. He is a really explosive athlete at 6'9". So you're seeing good things from him. The more that these guys can hit and become assets for the Utah Jazz, the better. Mm-hmm. And I don't like to talk about players as assets because I was a player at one point. But I'm very well aware of what I was. I was a pawn. I was a piece in a push to a championship. And if you got to get rid of the piece, well, they got rid of me. Look, it's just the hard facts. When you're a professional athlete, you know what it is.
Yeah. You're well compensated.
Yes, you're compensated to keep your mouth shut and go play the sport.
Yeah, wherever they tell you to play.
Wherever they tell you and whenever they tell you.
Yeah.
And depending on your level of ability, it's going to dictate how much say you've got in the room. But right now, you got a bunch of young guys going back to 3 draft classes ago. You've got a stack of draftees that are starting to develop and look better, and you need to get a couple of these wins. You need to see Isaiah Collier go for 11 assists and 11 points, put up a double-double on his 3rd game back. You need to see Ace Bailey go for a high percentage, put up 20 points in a 152-point blowout of the Pacers. You got to see these guys start to come along, and that's why the timing for Walker Kessler.
Oh, just the worst.
Just the worst.
Where he's at with his contract and all that just makes you sick to your stomach.
The worst possible time for him and for the Jazz.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, look, the guy's going to enter restricted free agency next summer. And what's the market going to be for him? His agent is going to have to look at these first 4 games. Look what he did.
Yeah, because you got to go back to the rookie year, which was a good rookie year.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You had the sophomore slump.
Yep.
This is kind of a rough slump. But you know about the slump. And then you had the build-up coming through summer. The start was incredible. And you're like, wow, what do we do?
Yeah. And if somebody comes in and offers him a pretty good number, then you as a Jazz have to be like, do we match this?
Now what?
Yeah. And then you and I are doing a remote next to a fireworks stand saying honk if you like the extension or not.
Yeah. And there was a lot of honks.
There was a lot of honks.
There were a lot of honks.
I think it was
back
if
in
you
the
were
day.
mad at the extension.
I think that was our first year together.
Yeah, it was.
Second
Gordon
year together,
Hayward.
maybe.
All right, Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We are live here hanging out at, boy, I tell you what, such a beautiful facility here at the Back 9, 865 South, 700 East. It's really easy to find. It's just right next to the Costco. If you know where that's at in Orem, just come on by and check out this facility. We'll talk more about that coming up next right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. The Cougars return home for a battle against TCU. Your home for the best coverage of Cougar football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
I get so tired of this.
Step.
Stop.
That's not why I'm playing this, so don't go there.
All right. You can't be all like play this song and then be like, hey guys, don't get crazy with it.
Yeah, that's all that's saying is, this is for Hans's clogging day.
And
No,
then
it's not.
And then I'm going to say something, and then Lloyd's
Can't
like,
I like
how dare
Elvira?
you?
Can't
No,
I
nobody
like Elvira?
likes this
Who?
song.
Really? Hans,
You know what's
don't
funny?
like it?
I haven't failed at many things in my life, but I failed in clogging, and that's what Lloyd gloms onto.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you'll
That
find
is
that
not
one
true.
thing.
And you
that
did
one
not
thing.
fail at
What's
clogging.
Hans's failure? Let's shove that in his
That's
face.
right there. Yep. Hey, make this Thanksgiving unforgettable. Kenny J's Barbecue. Skip the stress and bring home slow smoked turkey perfection. Order that turkey today, 801-230-5396. That's 801-230-5396.
Okay, so a couple things. Everybody was upset about 7-2 Notre Dame, 7-2 Texas, 7-2 Oklahoma being ranked above BYU and Utah. And I mentioned this, but this is all going to play out.
Yeah.
Oklahoma's going to lose to Alabama this weekend.
Yep.
Notre Dame should lose to Pitt. I actually think Pitt's going to get them.
I wouldn't. I don't disagree with
Because
that at all.
I kind of feel like Notre Dame's a false front as an independent. So you need Notre Dame to lose another one to finally get them out of there. They lost at the beginning of the season to Miami, and they lost at the beginning of the season to Texas A&M. So outside of their win against USC, which was an L-biter, they haven't really shown a great team. I'm just hoping Pitt knocks them out, because if they get past Pitt, they've only got Syracuse and Stanford left. So
Yeah, they'll win those.
if they go 3-0, Notre Dame's going to stay ranked ahead of BYU and Utah as a 2-loss independent team. That bugs me. But I do think things are going to take care of themselves. Again, I think Oklahoma loses to Alabama. I don't think that's I don't think that they're going to find a way past them. And then you need Texas to either lose to Georgia or Texas A&M.
And
So
that'll happen.
So your
One of those.
your 2-loss teams, at least two of them are going to lose and become 3-loss teams, at which point a 2-loss Utah team and a 1-loss BYU team will jump them. So don't get caught up in this whole, these 2-loss teams, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of football left to be played. If BYU and Utah don't take care of their business, they don't deserve to be in front of those guys anyways.
That's well said. And you hit it on, like these committees, especially early on, they're just having some fun. It's clickbait.
They are. They're creating storylines.
Yeah.
They're trying to create matchups. For instance, they're keeping Oklahoma ranked number 11 as a 7-2 team because they know that the game is going to take care of it. They know that the game will take care of it. Either Alabama beats them, and then we're like, 3-loss Oklahoma team, go sit down at number 17, Or they beat Alabama, and they're like, see, we told you. That's why we kept them up here in front of 1-loss teams, because we knew Oklahoma had the goods. So they know that the game is going to take care of the rankings. I actually think they play it the right way.
Oh, they do. They do. And nobody's taking it too seriously at this point, so don't lose any sleep over it. Could not stress that enough. All right, Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.